Okay, we are back once again, my friends, and he's a Mama G, co-creator, as I always say, along with the prime creator of Fiercely Fulfilled Feminine, where I help twin flames alchemize sexual trauma, reclaim their power, and experience true fulfillment through what I call the Sacred Sexuality Reclamation Method. Now, I feel like, part of me was like, and you don't need to jump on there and talk about the Epstein Files, and yet guess what? I think it's important, especially given my history, especially given that I am essentially a thriver of everything that's coming out in those files. I think it's important that I get on here, share my voice, be authentic. I'm not going to really go deeply into my story. I share that in other videos as far as the SSP and child sex slavery. So it's just something that I kind of would like to share with the general populace. I also like to offer some support to those who have been suffering in silence, who have been afraid to speak up, who are living in fear and are haunted by their own sexual trauma, the sexual assault, um, and the sexual abuse at the hands of very influential, healthy, powerful people. Um, so. I made some notes here. First of all, we are going through, I'd like to remind you that we are going through a collective dark night of the soul. What does that mean? It means that we're finally here as humanity to confront the darkness, to confront the collective shadow, to confront all the ugliness that exists in the world so that we can heal it, transform, and move on into greater peace and unity. And I know some of you out there are like, how is this possible? It's just getting worse. No, it's not getting worse. It's only getting worse because of where you're putting your attention and where you're putting your focus and what you believe. Okay? Because you're allowing others to direct you or to support your beliefs that that's exactly how it is, because it might be, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, you have the option to experience a completely different reality where it doesn't feel like the world is falling apart. And if it feels like it is right now, it's okay. It's okay. I honor you and I offer you love and compassion if that's where you are. Now, collective dark nights of the soul can often, it's about a grieving process. We're going through a grieving process. So the first is denial. And I know on my own personal experience, I was in denial of many, many things, and in particular of the depth of my own trauma. I didn't want to remember. And we've been in a collective denial that these things that are coming out in the Epstein files are happening, and that there's been a lot of suffering because of it. There are big names being named, and many, like myself, have known about this for a very long time because we've experienced the pain of some of these people firsthand, in their shadow. And we've observed, and I know I've connected with other people who've also experienced that pain. Um, so the denial, I, it's been tough for me to have so many people in denial, and yet that's how we meant for it to unfold. Mass consciousness just wasn't ready to come into a more fuller awakening of what's been going on and our ability to move beyond it. So, if you're experiencing anger right now, if you're experiencing grief, depression, it's all a very natural, normal part of the grieving process, is because essentially we are changing identity as a collective consciousness. You are changing your identity. We are growing and we are evolving. And growth, just think about when you were a kid, growing pains can be painful. And yet, oh, I'm getting bigger. It's about the awareness and the perspective. Okay, so this is not fun, but it means we're growing. We're evolving beyond it. We've got to kind of get rid of all the ugliness first so that we can get to more goodness and we can experience the transformation. It's that whole caterpillar going into the chrysalis, big hot mess, and then comes out this majestic, light, beautiful butterfly. That's essentially what is happening. And so the grieving process is not linear. It deals with a lot of emotions, first denying the emotions, denying what's going on, getting angry, feeling depressed, trying to say if only this or only that, bargaining, and then finally into acceptance. It's a process, though. So honor yourself to start with that. And I am going to make some suggestions towards the end of this video. So let me see what else I wrote. The Me Too movement was squashed. I feel like on some level that was squashed. And again, be careful because you got left, right, two wings of the same bird, and those quote unquote many in the truth community, whether consciously aware of it or not, were kind of poo-pooing what was considered the left side as far as the Me Too movement and all these other movements that were there to essentially support the upliftment of humanity and taking care of our brothers and sisters. And it's not a left-right thing. I'm just going to tell you right now, folks, it's not a left-right thing. That's division, that's duality consciousness. If you think that the left is right and the right is wrong, or the right is right and the left is wrong, come in the middle, harmonize it, find the commonalities, find your own inner truth and your own inner authority. Okay? I've been saying this for a really long time. Come into your heart. Come into your heart. Always come into your heart and come from a place of love and compassion. I'm going to tell you right now, I know women who have been sexually assaulted by very wealthy, prominent, influential people. And if they shared these names, you would know them. They are household names. Some of them have been shared in the Epstein Files, some of them haven't. There's a lot that has been shared, and yet there's a lot more. There's a lot more. Kind of trying to figure out where I wanted to go with this. So I've known others who have been raped by priests, policemen, abducted by policemen, by prominent figures in the community or considered those that you could trust. I myself was a child sex slave. And if you know me and you grew up with me, you'll be like, I don't think so, Anne. How is that possible? I'm not here to discuss that right now. Okay. The last year, and especially the last 3.5 years, you've seen me traveling all over the place. So I have been anchoring in grid points, but I've also had dormant DNA activated. I've also had memories activated, painful memories. There was no mistake that I spent 2 months in Palm Beach County, the end of last year. It's no mistake that I traveled all over Italy, including the Vatican, military installations. It's no accident that I end up in Santa Barbara, California, and then LA again. And now here in Hawaii, which is more about the indigenous and how they have not been honored and revered. They're living in poverty here. So that's just a little bit of an aside. They're living in abject poverty. I'm also here to clearly do some more healing, working with the land, working with my star family, the whales and the dolphins, and receiving coded messages from what is known as Lemurian crystal seed technology. I have Lyran descent, Palladian, Syrian, and Vega. I'm kind of all over. I'm trying to not be emotional here. These files coming out has been very emotional for me. Part of it is because, oh my God, it's finally coming out. The other part is just reconciling all the memories and healing at the deepest levels that, my worthiness and my innate sense of I am enough and I am worthy and I am safe. I got very, very angry recently because there were a bunch of videos on TikTok and they were saying, oh, the Epstein Files, they're just covering up this, and that. First of all, the Epstein Files and what's being released is important for our collective humanity to know about, and there is more. And there's a lot that's been covered up, and there's a lot that's coming out, and there'll be a lot more that's coming out. So no, we're not going to ignore what's coming out with the Epstein Files, because that's further denial. So don't allow anyone to pull you into that game. This needs to be dealt with now. The sound of freedom only skimmed the surface. And yet many who produced it are part of it. They are part of it, or have been part of it. And let me back up from the anger, because love and compassion is what heals. In a sense, these figures have been victims as well. And yet they need to be held accountable. There needs to be justice. And we need to protect, most importantly, our precious children. We need to protect each other. We need to protect justice. We need to protect truth. We need to heal. And I've been on the most insanely intense healing journey because of this. And so now I'm in a position to help others. It has not been easy. It can get uncomfortable, it can get messy, it can get ugly. But the only way is through. If we want to heal this, we do this together. We do it through love. We do it through compassion, starting with ourselves. And so if you have at any point doubted what I've shared on this journey, I won't fault you. I won't blame you. I won't even get angry with you. But know that many of us out there have been suffering in silence. And we have felt ignored. We have felt ignored, alone. And it's been extremely challenging. I'm coming at it real today, okay? Because to be ignored is indifference. It's not having the courage to look into the darkness and look into the shadows. And I didn't mean this to come off this way. I apologize. I want to be more loving and compassionate. I'm just being real. Yeah, I've had some anger come up at the mass denial and the kind of experiences that I've had. And it goes way deeper. And if you're a twin flame on this in this realm at this point, you get it. If you're a twin flame that has experienced sexual trauma, SRA, SA, you get it. And yet it's also contracted. I know, I get it. It's the fertilizer. It's helped me to grow, to heal, to see through the illusion, and to step out, help others. And then we'll step out of this play and be like, okay, that was fun. Seriously. Anyways, so here's what I am going to suggest. Number one, just get off social media. You don't need to know every gory detail. You don't need to go over the same video again, and again, 10, 20 videos on the same topic about the same person or what have you. Okay? You don't need more than that, because what you're doing essentially is when you give attention to that, you're feeding the monster, so to speak. You're feeding the shadows. You're feeding the darkness. You're feeding the perpetuation of this. Because the feeling of despair and grief and depression is not going to lift us up ultimately, unless it's a conscious part of a healing process. So I would highly recommend stop feeding into that. It's addictive. It's addictive because it's aligning with what any despair or grief that you're experiencing at this time. Where you put your attention is where the energy flows. That's just a fact. It's all energy and frequency. So stop giving your attention to it. okay? Unless you feel like you need to be informed as a diagnostic. Yet don't overdo it, okay? Just take a pause from it. Number 2 is heal your own heart. The ability, in other words, if you're getting online and you're condemning and you're judging and you're angry and you're like this and that, I get it. It's like whiplash, because all these people who you may have adored, and I did at one point, and you respected and you looked to us for authority, and they taught you so much and you grew so much through them, but then there was so much manipulation and deception behind the scenes and you just didn't see it. That's going to create a tremendous amount of anger and then grief. And finally, you'll come into acceptance, because that's how it was for me. So allow that process, yet take it from yourself, take it from within. Because at some point, there was something in your own experience where you felt like you could no longer be your own authority, like you had to look to the outside for authority, for a savior, to feel better. That's trauma. Those are the echoes of trauma. And trauma can show up in a lot of different ways. It might not be really obvious. But if you're human, you've experienced trauma. And if you're having a real hard time right now, get some help, get some support, talk to somebody, work through it. Don't do it alone. You don't need to do it alone. Look internally. What is it in my life where I'm still not showing up with love? Well, I'm still not showing up with kindness, where I'm still showing up with judgment, because it's always a reflection of what's going on inside. And again, not to shame you, it's just the pain of trauma that is projecting itself out there so it can be reflected, mirrored back, so you can see it for what it is and you can decide what to do with it. Do I wish to heal this? Do I wish to grow and evolve through this? Okay. Ultimately, be the love that you wish to see in the world. Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change. That's part of it. Be the love. And have it start with you. Be the love. And the only way you can be the love if you heal your own trauma. Because if you've lost a lot of loved ones, if you've been abused, if you feel like you've been abandoned, rejected, neglected, if you feel like you're going through life alone, like nobody gets you and understands you, heal that and be the love. Slow down. Slow down. You cannot feel. You cannot heal unless you slow down, because slowing down allows you to breathe. It allows you to bring in more life force energy. When you blow air through your system, it helps to detoxify and purify. It helps you to release, allows your body to feel vulnerable and safe enough to release whatever trapped emotions may be in there. Okay, it's like a windstorm, picks everything up. You want to blow the dust off a diamond? Whew, that's here. Okay. Read. Get off Netflix. If you're spending hours on Netflix and hours scrolling and hours looking at video technology, I'm going to tell you right now, especially with the phone, it's not supporting your well-being. The frequencies there could drop you, your mood and everything. And that's not what you want. Begin a meditative practice. Begin breath work. Think about how you start each day. Do you jump right out of bed and get right to it? Or do you take time for yourself? Pray. Check in with the God source. Check in with the divine. Read books that inspire and uplift you. Journal. Do what you love. Create. And most importantly, know that together, if we come together through love and through healing our unowned, all unresolved trauma and grief, we can do this. We can do this. Love you so much. We got this, okay?